Hey, what's going on, everybody? Isaac here. We're doing a little tabletop look here at two famous combat knives of the 20th century and beyond, because they're still around, obviously. So, down here we got the K-Bar, the USMC, US Navy Mark II fighting knife from World War II. And here we have got the Randall Model 14, which really came to fame in the Vietnam War. So we got a lot of differences here and some similarities. Now, similarities? What are you talking about? Well, mostly just because they're both fighting knives in the 7 to 7.5 inch plus range, and they come with leather sheaths. Other than that, there's not too much in common, but they're both associated with the U.S. Marine Corps. Obviously, the K-Bar is extremely famous for the U.S. Marine Corps from World War II. But there was a time in the mid-1950s that the U.S. Marine Corps was interested in replacing the K-Bar. And the Randall Model 14 was submitted as a replacement for the K-Bar during some knife trials back in the mid-1950s. Now, as you may know or may assume anyways, the K-Bar stuck around, and the Randall was not chosen. So let's take a look. This is how it comes from the K-Bar factory. We got a leather sheath, stitched, single stitched, and rivets. What do we got? 7 rivets. Snap closure at the top. Leather stacked handle. You can get these in rubber these days, but the classic way is leather, and that was very popular, mid 20th century. Many companies made leather stacked knives. It's 1095 steel with a black coating. I forget what K-Bar uses as their coating. It's not a Cerakote or anything. Back in the World War II days, it was parkerized. And we got a 7-inch blade of 5/32 of an inch thick. So a little over 1/8 of an inch, but not quite 3/16 of an inch. And we got this nice round pommel at the end. And what many say is the folly of the K-Bar is that thin rat tail tang. So that's the K-Bar. And another look at the sheath. Now, let's move this to the side for a minute. The Randall. Now we got all these cords coming up out of it and such. The leather sheath, super nice, real thick. We got a pouch for a sharpening stone here. It's double stitched, no rivets holding it together here, just the stitching. Snap closure, but going over the guard, not up here around the hilt like the K-Bar. This tucks back nicely here. And they put these holes in the sheath here. You see, go back to put this cord on so that you can easily attach this to military web gear. It comes with a decently thick, or I should say wide, belt loop, but they have this here so you can hang it off the cord on any type of web gear or tie it on. And this here for a leg strap. The K-Bar did have a hole at the bottom of the sheath where you can put leg strap on there as well. Now let's look at the blade, the Randall. This is 7.5 inches of 01 tool steel, and it is a 1/4 inch thick. Wide blade, it is wider than the K-bar. It's the Randall Maker's Mark. It is sharpened up here on the clip. The K-bar is not. However, I believe the old K-bars, World War II era, did have that sharpened clip. You know, the Mark II fighting knife, I should say. Because the version of the knife that is produced by Case has the clip point sharpened. Now this has a micarta handle. This is the standard configuration of this knife. Nice big double quillion guard. It is soldered on. Thick tang. It's not, I don't know, a lot of people call this full tang, and it's still more of a stick tang because it's a lot thinner than the blade, but we can call it. This is a tough knife, you know. That's pretty thick. Randall made this to have somewhat, you know, almost indestructible combat knife is what they say on their website. So let's get these knives paired up together here. So pretty much the same overall length. Here, we'll put them, put the guards here side by side. So the Randall obviously has a much larger choil area than the K-bar, so you can stick your finger up there and choke up if you so please, whereas the K-bar you don't do that. Much smaller choil ricasso area. Fuller or blood groove here on the K-bar, nothing like that on the Randall. So why would the Marine Corps choose to stick with the K-bar over the Randall? Cost, probably a big issue. Randall Knives was and still is a rather small custom shop. They hand forge all of these blades. And logistically, since they have that type of process, they likely really wouldn't have been able to supply the United States Marine Corps with, you know, countless knives all the time and still remain in business for anybody else to buy knives. At least in my opinion, that's probably what it was. So just really looking at these here as a side by side. Randall, a bit wider blade. Put it on top. They both sharpen up relatively easily. K-bar, I believe, is 56 to 58 on the Rockwell scale, and Randall tries to narrow it in at 55 to 56 on their knives, which a lot of people think is soft. And it is, but they do that on purpose to, you know, make this steel tough and also easy to sharpen out in the field, which is a big deal when you're out there in the thick of it and need to get a sharp edge on your knife. So obviously this has some finger grooves on the handle. Provides for a real nice secure grip. K-bar, Some people like to put those rubber O-rings in these grooves here for you get a bit more grippiness there. I know my buddy Danny Jackson has done that on his K-bars he's gotten. But, and there they are, guys. 2 great combat knives of the 20th century. Certainly icons of large wars that the United States military has taken part of. Of course, the K-bar saw plenty of action in the Vietnam War, as well as the Randall. All right, take it easy. We'll see you on the next video.